And welcome on into WagerWeekly.com. Week 2 in the NFL is already here. We're breaking down your Sunday card. Paul Nolan joins me as he does each and every week. 283, 284, and your Nevada rotation is where we're at. The Jets on the road to visit Big D. Jerry and the boys down in Big D. Welcome on in the Jets. And what an absolute crazy week to start the season, really, for both teams. The Jets lose Aaron Rodgers for the season on the 4th offensive play of the year, Paul Nolan. Defense keeps it close. Zach Wilson did enough not to lose the game. They win it on a punt return in overtime. And for Dallas, they came up to MetLife Stadium and just absolutely rolled the Giants, who looked like they had never played football before, 40-0. So just really true pandemonium for both teams on all sides of the ball. And here they are in week 2, Jets off to Big D. People who have watched the show already kind of know where you're going here, because you kind of laid out a scenario of who you thought was going to win week 1, which you were absolutely right about, and what that would lead to in week 2. I'm assuming you still feel pretty strongly about that scenario.
Yeah, I went into what I say last verbatim was, watch, this is exactly how this league works. The Jets are going to come in. They're going to play the hottest, heaviest game. That defense is going to be fully furious and vicious. You'll mark my words. They'll play the best game of their lives. And I think that this team is so pumped up to have, Aaron Rodgers. Big deal. What a genius. Okay. Then Rodgers, obviously heartbreaking injury to the cursed Jets. I mean, it's unbelievable. They are as cursed a franchise as I've ever seen. And then I said that what will happen, Jets will go across to Dallas, and Dallas will absolutely dominate in the wake of probably beating the Giants, who they always beat. The Giants do not have home field advantage. They rarely win at home. And we thought the Dallas Cowboys would just do what they did, not to that level, especially when the Giants came out in that opening drive. It looked like they were able to do what they want. And then they have the ridiculous offensive line penalty. Was it a false start? And then it was the fumble on the bad snap by the rookie. And then
pick six on the Giants off first offensive cycle there, and they never looked back.
Yeah, the field goal, kick, block, run. It just was a complete disaster. It looked like they just caved in on themselves. And the Dallas Cowboys have always been a bit of bullies. When they're rolling, they pile on. So I do think the boys are going to play a phenomenal game this week. I think that the Jets, if Jets can keep this close early on and get their running game going, and that was a bugaboo for Dallas last year, if they can run the ball with Breece Hall and, Cook, I think they could be, they can keep themselves in this game. But for the most part, I just don't know how the Jets are really going to score when they get to the red zone. I don't know how they're going to I just don't know how they're going to be able to, deal with that pass rush. I mean, when you look at the mismatches across the line, the Jets offensive line outside of Verataka is not good. Mekhi Becton is still not what they expected him to be. And when you look at Brown, what is he, 100 years old? I mean, for at this point right now, I just don't think this offensive line is going to be able to hold up. I think Micah Parsons is going to have a field day again. I think Lawrence is going to have a field day again. I think Hankins is going to dominate again. And their corners are great. I mean, Gilmore now gets the second receiver where Diggs gets the number 1. I mean, that's a really good matchup in every game this year when you think about it. And I like the linebacker spots for Dallas. That defense was fast and furious, and I really enjoyed watching it. I was leaning towards the under early in the week, but again, that line came down so far. If we look at this line right now from where it started and where it's at, there's no value whatsoever in it. 46 to open, obviously pre-injury, but 38.5. And then we saw 41s early in the week, and now it's so low. It's just, it's impossible to consider 38.5 in this NFL as an under. So for me, I'm leaning Dallas because I just don't think Zach Wilson is going to have any ability whatsoever to get to a second read. He's going to run for his life, and he's so capable of throwing pick sixes and demoralizing this defense. So to me, it's a Dallas play or nothing.
And honestly, he did that a lot last week. I mean, you look at his numbers last week, I think he was 14 for 21, 140 yards. But those 140 yards, a lot of them were after the catch. There was a lot of turnover-worthy throws that Buffalo just didn't take advantage of. I don't know that I would say the same about this stacked Dallas defense. I think they can take advantage of those exact same situations that Wilson could find himself in. So I'm all in on with you on this game, too. If I had to play this game, I would definitely have to play Dallas at home because I don't think, as you said, I don't know how the Jets keep up, quite frankly.
Yeah. So for me, it's it's Cowboys and nothing in this one. Please, in the comments, let us know what you guys think. The public we have the sharpest public ever. Here's an example. Right now, 45% of the public is betting on the Jets right now with Zach Wilson going with the injury and that defense at this point. To me, that speaks volumes about this betting public now. The other game that really stands out to me is 58% of the public is betting Seattle right now. Seattle was absolutely abysmal after their cornerbacks. I mean, their guards went down. Their defense is already terrible, but their corners are not good. And I, despite having Pete Carroll there as a coach, I don't care who tells me what, but 55 or 58% of the public on Seattle off getting embarrassed versus Detroit, who won in national public eye against the media darlings and Pat Mahomes. That to me tells me how smart the public is and how I know that they're baking the lines differently, because in all honesty, this line in the Seattle Detroit game, which I'm getting off topic of the other game, it should be 6.5. I feel like I'm not playing Seattle unless I'm getting 6.5. I could buy 7 or 7 points in this game, because I just feel like this is another example of the public's too sharp for its own good.
All right, there you go. Week 2, you got some added information there from Paul Nolan on Seattle and Detroit, 269 and 270. Good stuff there. Make sure you visit us each and every day right here, wagerweekly.com. For a week 2 in the NFL, we'll see you back on Sunday morning right here, wagerweekly.com.